Hello, welcome to your February 2022 Mindful Movers monthly virtual class. So for this month, Valentine's Day is Monday as of when I record this, and thinking about love. And there's of course romantic love, and that's prioritized or thought about most in our culture, but there are so many other forms of love. Whatever we might have love for inside, and also love for ourselves. So thinking about that in practice today, opening up to the love for ourselves, the love inside, whatever that love might be for, could be more romantic love, could not be, whatever that is to you. And I think yoga practice can be a wonderful space in which to find whatever that is for us, whatever is best for us, right? Maybe that doesn't resonate with you. Maybe you can just enjoy the flow and the movement, the stretch. That's amazing as well. All right. All of that said, make sure you have props on hand. Blanket, this is a yoga blanket, but any blanket you have in your house could be great. Blocks, if you have them, could also be books, water bottles, all works well. We're going to start in a constructive rest position. That is, feet as wide as your mat, your knees knock into each other, and you can lie right down on your back. And this is a wonderful pose for dancers, especially ballet dancers, because spending so much time externally rotated and raising the legs, that really works the psoas system, the psoas muscle a lot. And that can get tight and cranky overused, right? So this can help bring some balance back there. In any case, just taking a moment or two just to breathe, to notice the quality of your breath, the pacing, the texture, the depth. And that's information that you can use to make your practice truly what it needs to be for you today. Maybe for a moment, noticing your heart space, your chest. I can get kind of caved in the winter, but thinking about opening that in our bodies today to maybe bring that openness out into our lives. Okay? Whether that's love for dance, for whatever we're working on, love for a romantic partner, love for ourselves, maybe, whatever that might be. A couple more breaths here. Alrighty, wonderful. From here, please take your right knee into your chest, lengthen your right leg long. I'm just going to shift my mat a bit so you can see me a little bit better, I think. So right knee into your chest. Let's make both toes bright up to the sky, really flexing your foot, and seeing if you can push your right leg into your mat while you feel your frontal hip bones dip a little bit towards that extended leg, towards that end of the mat, so that you end up having a little arch in your low back. Right? If that feels elusive, don't worry about it. Just a little nuance you can play with, nothing imperative. Maybe you find a little movement here, taking a circle one way or the other. Maybe stillness is what you need today. Awesome. From there, let's take a half happy laughing baby. So taking that right foot up to the sky, right? Bottom of the foot pointing to the sky. You can hold an outside of the foot, or if it feels more available, to the inside. If you're feeling a little tight, maybe it's morning or you're not warmed up, you can definitely make a diamond shape here. Right, knee going out to the side. What do you need? What do you not need? What choices in your yoga practice would reflect care and even love for yourself? Right? Nice, few more breaths. Awesome. All right, you can let that release. Same thing on the other side. So let's take the left knee into chest. It's a good hold either behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Again, whatever feels best to you. Let's make both sets of toes bright, flexing feet up to the sky. Feeling those frontal hip bones dip towards that edge of the mat, away from your head. So there ends up being this little arch in your low back. Another nuance you can play with is gently drawing your left hip towards your right foot. So sort of in and away from your face. Again, if that's elusive, don't worry about it. Just little things you can play with along your yoga journey. And let's go ahead into that half happy laughing baby, holding on the outside or inside of the foot. And feel like you can push that extended leg into your mat. And just breathing. Noticing what's there. Can you make choices that reflect care and love, even for yourself? One more big breath in. Breath out, let that go. Nice. Knees into chest. Rolling on up. That could be 1, 2, 3, whatever feels good times. Into your tabletop pose. Now, I know for me, my knees feel a little crunchy, cranky in a tabletop, so I like to pad with a blanket. That might be useful to you. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And going into a cat-cow flow. Tailbone goes up to sky. Let your belly dip gently. Head up to sky. Big breath in. Cow pose. Tailbone down. Back comes up. Let your head go. Big breath out. Kitty cat. Keeping the flow going. Back and forth. Cat and cow. You feel that heart space, right? Maybe there's something sticky and tight there as you move through. Rather than judging, can you just notice it as information? All right, and then taking any other movement that feels good here. I love to do these barrel rolls. Feels good on my body. Might not feel good on yours. You could come back and forth. From child's pose, you can look back at your feet, your flow, your practice. What choices would reflect care and love for yourself? All right, one last breath there, and then we're gonna take the right leg long and back. Rest of your body's in a tabletop, feeling your belly draw in and up to your spine for support. And we're gonna just rock back and forth on the ball of the foot and back. You have just the ball of my foot down. It's a nice stretch for the calf, but you'll feel it wherever you need it most, wherever you are tightest. Nice. And then raising up that leg, maybe even the arm for a bird dog. You could totally do this also with the arm down, totally an option. Here we go, knee into chest, firing up a little bit. Nice and long, and 2. And 3. Breath in, expand. Good. Hand down, knee into your chest, foot in between your thumb. We're setting up a low lunge. Awesome. Left hand down. Might be supportive to place your block, book, water bottle, whatever you have under that hand. An option. Right arm raises up to sky. Big breath in, long spine. Breath out. Maybe you can find just a bit more twist. Breath in, nice and long. Breath out. Maybe you can twist just a little bit more. Good. We're going to take the top arm going back, down, and then coming up to a low lunge with arms up to sky. Nice. Can you feel a stamp through that front heel and then a gentle guiding back of your right hip to your left heel, gently in and back. Last little piece, can you soften your front ribs down towards your pelvis? Good. Aware of that heart space today, especially. From here, we're going to interlace fingers, palms to sky. Big breath in, breath out. We're going to paint half a circle towards that front leg. So going out and down, and then hands around that front foot. Blocks are great here. I would recommend, but up to you. Breath in, nice and long. Breath out, shifting back, half, split. You might very well have a full split, but maybe for today, a little care and love for yourself. Is this half split being enough? Maybe. Avoiding hyperextension, especially for really flexy dancers, right? A little mini bend to the knee. And flexing back through this foot can help bring a little more musculature that secures the knee just a little bit. Breath in, nice and long through your spine. Breath out, maybe find a little release. Couple more breaths. Good. You want to get a little outer leg work. You could also turn those front toes to the side and then reach your blocks to the side as well. An option, nothing required, but just to breathe and maybe show a little care for yourself. All right, coming forward, back to your lunge. We'll lengthen that leg back. And then from your tabletop, dropping onto your belly, we're going to interlace hands at low back, pushing into the tops of your feet, inner thighs to the sky, tailbone towards your heels. That's your important foundation. Lifting up to your heart, big breath in, breath out, let it go. A locust pose variation. Good. Hands right underneath your elbows as much as you can. It's going to be important later, or generally in your practice. Back to your tabletop. All of that on the other side. And you can take a child's pose to rest anytime you need. Otherwise, we're just flowing on through. Advantage of video. Also, you can pause the video anytime you might need. Left leg long and back. And we're going to, again, ball the foot down and just rocking back and forth. Good. I know I feel a stretch in my calf here. My calf feels a little tight and sticky when I do this, but you are going to feel it wherever you need it most. All right, lovely. Coming to that bird dog. So raising through the leg. Arm up. So palm facing inwards in the flying leg. Inner thigh rising up to sky. Toes bright downwards. Let's crunch 3 times. Breath out in. Breath out, expand big. And 2. And 3. Good. Hand down, knee into chest, foot in between your thumbs. Maybe a block to support under your right hand is nice. Left arm up to sky for a twist. Breath in, nice and long. Breath out, maybe you twist just a little bit more. Couple more breaths. Good. Top arm goes back, down, picks the other arm up to take both arms to sky. Breath in, feeling nice and tall. Breath out, maybe your hips sink a little bit more, maybe not. Stamping through front heel. Front hip guiding gently in and back. Front ribs soften downwards. Good. And then we interlace fingers, palms to sky, nice side bend. And as you're ready, paint that half circle out and down, hands frame, front foot. Breath in, nice and long. Breath out, shift back, half of the split. Front toes bright up to sky, mini bend in this front knee, especially if you are hyperextended generally. Breath in, nice and long. Breath out as any release possible. Any more release, I should say. Maybe not. Couple more breaths here. Always keeping in mind care for yourself, maybe even love for yourself through your yoga practice. All right, last couple breaths. If it feels nurturing to you, you can walk your blocks or hands, whatever you have, to the outside and let those front toes go a little bit to the outside as well. Turn out, as we say in dancer language. You feel a little bit on that outer leg line, the iliotibial band, IT band. You want the fancy anatomical language. All right, awesome. Next breath out, back to center. Breath in, coming forward. Shooting that leg long and back. And we'll come onto the belly again. Taking a baby cobra from here. Pushing through tops of feet. Inner thighs to the sky, tailbone to heels. That foundation set, raising heart, baby cobra. Looking out and down, keeping both front and back of neck nice and long. Breath out, let it go. Awesome. Pushing through a plank, or you could definitely push through tabletop, hips to sky, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here, might be your first down dog of the day. So there, I'm just adjusting my props. Might feel nice to walk out your dog, pushing a heel down, pushing the other heel down. And when you're ready, whatever feels right to you, jumping, hopping, or stepping to top of mat, just get your feet to hands. Good, either feet hips distance apart, which is about 2 fists in between your feet, or big toes could be together with a tiny bit of space in between your heels. Hold opposite elbow, maybe a little sway feels good. Ragdoll pose. And when you're ready, raising up to sky. I think the video is cutting me off, my apologies. Good. And if you have feet together, let's take them hips distance apart. I think if I back up a little bit, you can see me better. I'm going to take hands at low back, cueing into some nuances in the body here. Right, so the balls of feet pushing down, but your insteps, your inner arch is lifting up. Inner thighs spiral backwards, right, to the back of your mat, but your tailbone also drops, right? Tailbone is heavy. Front ribs soften down, but you roll your shoulders up and back, especially today. And I'm just doing this interlace of the hands at my low back, feeling that nice opening through the chest. But again, make sure you soften those front ribs down to keep the spine aligned. Caring for our spines, caring for ourselves. All right, we're going to take a variation on Sun Salutation A from here. Apologies for my head being cut off. Arms reaching up, folded hips. Let it release. So we're going to please step the left foot back. So we're in a high lunge. Again, maybe a block underneath your hand is supportive, up to you. Right arm lifts, nice twist. Breath in nice and long. Breath out, maybe I twist a little bit. Couple more breaths. Good. That top arm goes back down. Picks the other arm up for our high lunge. So you are, of course, always welcome to drop back knee and do the low lunge that we did before. You can cue into those nuances we found before. Grounding through this front heel. This front hip guiding in and back. Front ribs soften down. Really feeling that heart space, especially today. Interlacing fingers, palms to the sky. Big breath in. And then we do that half a circle we paint. This time we're going to take hands on inside of front foot. I'm just going to shift for you for a better visual. You're going to please, supporting with your hands down, ground your back heel down so you have Your back foot pointing on a diagonal. Your left arm, it's back here, goes forward, up, back. Apologies again for my head getting cut off. We're going to set up for a triangle pose here. So it's not a super, super long stance. You might want to tiptoe that back foot in a little bit. Good. Can you feel your front hip lift off your front thigh and your tailbone heavy? And we're going to take hips going back and then reach for your favorite candy. Be a Reese's for me. Good. Into your triangle pose. I like to take the back of my hand to the inside of my shin, on my calf sort of, and then push back from there, right? Feel that torso going back. Also a fine option to do a block. And yeah, leaning that torso back. Pushing into that ball of the foot, what in yoga we call the big toe mound. And keeping a mini bend in that front knee. Last little piece, can you feel that heart space open, but without flaring your ribs out? Keep feeling those front ribs soften down towards your pelvis. A couple more breaths. Awesome. That top arm is going to go forward, down, setting up for a pyramid pose. So hips now facing down. You can walk that back foot towards outer edge of mat so that you have this driving lane. I'm not on a tightrope, right? I have some space in between my heels, about hips distance apart. So back heel down, folding forward over that front leg, and make sure to keep that mini bend in your front knee. Pyramid pose. Breath in nice and long through your spine. Breath out. Maybe find a little more softening. Still grounding down through that front ball of foot. Mini bend to the knee, and you can feel maybe again a little bit that front right hip gently pull in and back. No yanking, however. That would not be showing love to yourself. Couple more breaths. All right, awesome. I'm going to flip it back around just to flow through. Coming forward on a breath into your lunge, stepping to plank. And then flow through a vinyasa. If you feel warm enough and it is in your practice, you are free to take a chaturanga. Also a fine option to drop all the way to your belly. Your practice, your choice. Making choices that reflect care and love for you. Good. Flowing on through in your way, no one else's way. Breath up, hips to sky, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here to reset. Making sure not to sink into your shoulders. We have a tendency for a flexy dancer. I've had that journey. Awesome. As you're ready, left foot in between your thumbs. All of that on the other side. So raising that left arm to sky. Big breath in, feeling nice and long. Breath up, maybe you find just the tiniest bit more twist. It's subtle, but meaningful. Couple more breaths. Awesome. As you're ready, that top arm goes back, down, picks the other arm up, and apologies for my arms getting cut off. Good. Stamping through front heel, front hip gently in and back, no yanking. Feeling that heart space, maybe soften those front ribs down. Interlacing fingers, palms to sky. Big breath in, breath out. Do that half circle painting the sky and the sidewall to set up for your triangle pose. So hands down, I would recommend, and then take the heel down so that your back foot is on an angle going forward, right? Diagonal. Right, back arm goes forward, up, back. A little bit. Good. Feeling that Front hip lifts a little bit. Tailbone is heavy. Hip shift back. Reach, 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 favorite candy. And set up for your triangle pose. Maybe a block is supportive to you. You could have also back of hand to inside of shin. Lean slightly back. A couple other little nuances. Pushing through the ball of your foot and finding that mini, mini bend to the front knee, making sure you're not hyperextending. Breath in, can you feel a little longer through your spine? Breath out, maybe there's a little softening available. Maybe not. Awesome, top arm forward and down. Going into that pyramid pose. So taking your back foot closer to the edge of the mat on its same side, right? And blocks could be super helpful. Folding over that front leg, mini bend to the knee. Easing into your stretch. Might not feel easy to you, especially if you're not warmed up. Maybe morning, feel a little tighter. You can always come up a little bit, hold on shin or even thigh. Blocks could support. Wherever you are, what choices would reflect care and love for you? Like in this 2022, 20th century world, spend a lot of time showing care and love for many things, many other people. How much do we spend time showing love for ourselves? Just a question I'll put out there. Open food for thought. All right, awesome. Let's take that back heel up. Lunge to step back foot to front foot. Let's fold forward here and release. Few breaths. Could do feet hips distance apart. Could feel nice. Holding opposite elbows in the ragdoll pose. Folding forward. You could totally bend your knees, right? That could be nurturing to you. All right, from here, let's take feet all the way together. We're gonna reach arms forward and up. Sit deep in your chair pose. Good, backing up a little bit again. Keep seeing my hands. Lifting your heart, right? Chair pose is a heart lift. And then from here, can you raise your heels, try to feel your ankles squeeze together. This is great if you're working towards point shoes, right? If you're on pre-point, or just generally for a dancer to have stronger ankles. And lower, and lower. Let your knees drop. Whew, little heat, little fire there. Nice. All right. We're gonna go on our knees here. So again, if your knees feel a little sensitive, a blanket could be nice. Setting up for camel pose, focusing on that heart opening. So, keeping your blocks nearby, those could be very helpful. I'm going to take hands at low back and feel the tailbone drop down and your elbow squeeze inwards, right? Just like we did in Cobra pose. And feeling the hips shift forward and your heart draw up, 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 like candy cane, up and back, right? Eventually coming to your hands coming to a support. Maybe that's your blocks. Maybe you hold your heels. Important thing is your hips keep lengthening forward, your heart lengthening up and back. Now, I wouldn't recommend flinging your head back. Feel support for your neck, right? Looking up at the ceiling rather than backwards. Couple breaths here, feeling that heart open. Wherever you are, just noticing. Breathing, breathing. All right. Slowly coming to rise. In the video, I'll just take one, but if you want a couple others, if you want to try that a couple more times, you can always pause or catch up with us. Again, it is your practice. From there, we'll come to sit on the blanket, I would recommend just to make sure your pelvis is aligned, as is most nurturing. Baddha Konasana. We're going to take an eagle pose. So we did a lot of this. You get to that eagle, so just to balance out. All right. Taking the left arm over the right, eagle pose. If this is not accessible to you, or you just might want to do it because it feels nice, give yourself a hug. All right, big bear hug. Point is not the shape. The point is to open up through your upper back. So wherever you are, big breath in, breath out, twisting with this shape, feeling a twist come from your belly, not from any leverage. And then you can release it to take back of left hand to outside of right thigh, other hand goes back. If you notice yourself leaning back, that's an exaggeration, but your prop could be supported there to help you have your torso coming right out of your hips. Breath in nice and tall. Breath out, maybe a little more twist is available. Maybe. All right, awesome. That on the other side. So please, your right arm over your left, raising those eagle arms, maybe taking the hands farther out from that, or maybe you're in a bear hug, because the eagle pose does not feel accessible, or you just want to give yourself a hug today. I am all for that. Breath in, tall spine, breath out. Can you twist in this funky eagle shape? I know it's funky. And then you can release your arms for your twist. So back of right hand to outside of your left thigh. Twisting, twisting. Big breath in, nice and tall. Breath out. Can you find any more twists from there? A few more breaths. Last breath in, breath out, let that release, and fold forward over your legs. Supta Baddha Konasana in Sanskrit, the ancient yoga language. Reclined Tailor's Pose, or Diamond Pose is also sometimes called. Few more breaths here. Last couple breaths. Awesome. Coming up, nice tall spine, and we'll come on down to the back. So on your back. Props are moved such that you can keep seeing me. Awesome. Just like a figure four, please. Your right ankle just closer to your hips than your left knee. Not on the knee, but just below it. Maybe to feel a little more sensation of opening up through the inner thigh and the hip, you can feel your right leg drawing away from your face. Another little nuance to play with is you can feel your hips shift away from your head, right? So you get more of that little arch in your low back. Maybe you're just enjoying the stretch here, enjoying showing care for yourself. Couple more breaths. All right, when you're ready, let that release. Please place feet down. Shift your hips a tiny bit to the left and let your knees fall to the right for a supine lying twist. Any shape with your legs that you know and like, totally fine. This feels most nurturing to me to just stack my knees. Right? But make the choice that's nurturing to you, that shows love to you. Feeling the support of the mat beneath you. Seeing how much you can just soften into that support. Let yourself be supported. Awesome. Hips shift center left ankle, just below your right knee, not right on it, please, for your figure 4. I like to clasp behind my thigh, but maybe you just keep that foot down without the clasp. Making that choice that is nurturing and shows even maybe love for you. In my mind, yoga practice is a series of choices, right? We have so many options, and we learn to take the ones that serve us best. I think that's the practice, right? Not only dance and creativity, it's making choices, right? Being intentional. Towards a certain outcome, yes, but to be totally cliche, it's the journey and not the destination. Last couple of breaths here, feeling your left thigh draw away from your head. Maybe to get a little more stretching sensation through inner thigh and hip. When you're ready, you can let that go. Hips shift towards your right. Let your knees fall left for your supine, aka recline twist. Having your legs in any shape that feels good to you. It shows care for you. Couple more breaths. Awesome. Knees come to sky, hips shift to center. Let's take that constructive rest position we started class with. So feet as wide as your mat, knees can knock into each other to support each other. Noticing the support underneath you. Maybe even noticing any difference in how you feel now to how you felt half hour or so ago when we started, right? And again, generally, this is just a great pose for dancers to take because it helps release the psoas, that muscle that externally rotates and raises up, especially if you're a ballet dancer, which we do a whole lot. Few more breaths. I hear my doggy up on the up over there behind the camera. When you're ready, lengthen to your final rest position. So lengthening legs long, legs as wide as your mat, arms draping off your mat. Really take up space. Let yourself expand, right? Let yourself take up space. Oh, there he is. Few breaths here. Maybe thinking on how you can show love for yourself, which is coming on Valentine's Day, but love is so much bigger than just romantic love. Maybe even your love for dance or art or creativity. Or maybe it's just nice to be here, letting the practice integrate into your body, mind, spirit, all of that absorbing in. You can take it forward from today. If you want longer here, please feel free to take it. You could pause the video. Otherwise, rolling on to one side, maybe even using your head as a pillow. Excuse me, your arm as a pillow. And then pushing up to a comfortable seat, whatever that might be for you. My pup needs to look out the window. Feeling rooted through your seat, nice and long through your spine. Last moment or two just to notice Noticing your breath, texture, depth, rhythm. Maybe setting an intention to bring forward from practice for the rest of your day, maybe beyond. Maybe again, the idea of showing love for yourself. Whatever love might be in your heart for whatever you might love. And there's my kitty. All the animal friends joining today. All right, on that note, hands to heart center, nice and long through spine. Hands to third eye center, just above and between your eyebrows, and bowing to the teacher and the student within. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. Have another class up in March. And otherwise, please take care, show love for yourself, and happy February. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.